Round 2 of this best of 3, we have Bretonnia versus the Dark Elves, a match we are very familiar with at this point. They're going to have 3 Questing Knights and 1 Grail Knight. Pretty much the go-to formation when it comes to PrussianPrince by the looks of it. Going to have 3 Peasant Bowmen, one of them with Pox Arrows, 3 Peasant Mob, the Holy Wardens, as well as 3 Men-at-Arms, and then 2 Spearmen-at-Arms. For the leadership, we have a Damsel of Life down here on top of a horse with Regrowth, Earthblood, and Lifebloom. King Lewin with all of the fixins. And then we have the Dark Elves here being brought by HitmanFluffy. Hitman is going to have some Bleak Swords up front. He's going to have 2 Blackguard and Nagrond, and then he's going to have 3 units of Dread Spears by the looks of it. He's also going to have a unit of Witch Elves and another unit of Witch Elves being the ROR Sisters of Singing Doom to get that rampage down. And then we're going to see 2 Repeater Crossbows, a unit of Slaanesha's Harvesters, and then a unit of Cold One Knights. So I think that's it for the Dark Elf formation besides the leadership, which is going to be Malekith on top of a chariot. He's going to have Gaze of Malice, Soul Stealer, Word of Pain, and then he brought an extra ability as well. So let's take a look at that. It's going to be the Circlet of Iron for the 50% miscast chance map wide. Alrighty, so the Peasant Bowmen are having a field day, and it looks like this Dark Elf army, rather than focusing on mobility and like Cold One Knights like we've seen in so many other armies, it's going to be focused on infantry. And I think the big problem that this army is having right now is that their Witch Elves are completely helpless to all of this Peasant Bowman fire. And as you can see, the Sisters of Singing Doom are almost completely dealt with at this point. Gaze of Malice going down there doing a nice bit of damage to those guys, but it seems to me that the Bretonians are going to have a distinct advantage in this battle because they're going to be able to tie down a ton of the Dark Elf infantry with their cheap men-at-arms. And then the cavalry contest is absolutely uncontested, as is the air contest. Lewin rules the air, and the Bretonian Cav rules the battlefield in terms of mobility. So the Repeater Crossbows are going to have their work cut out for them. They really need to get all of the damage done on top of these Bretonian forces. But look at this, Questing Knights being keenly micro through that gap and brought into this big blob. And now all of these units are surrounded. These Questing Knights are going to pull out instead now and go after what appears to be the Repeater Crossbows, but now they're rampaging, so your guess is as good as mine in terms of which direction they go now that the rampage has been popped. Lewin is still full health. Looks like we're going to be seeing a Soul Stealer here, and this is going to be a big old Soul Stealer coming in from the Slaaneshi Harvesters by the looks of it. And yeah, it's focused on Lewin, so Lewin's going to carry it around with him wherever he goes. But yeah, I mean, at this point in the battle, the peasants are continuing to fire away and just dish out oh so much damage. I mean, we do see Malekith over here desperately trying to shut them down, but him by his lonesome is going to have a hard time indeed taking care of all these peasant archers. And Lewin diving in here, causing a mass rout of terror across so many forces here. Sisters of Singing Doom going to be causing rampage on top of them, but the rampage doesn't help too much if there's nothing around him to kill him, and he's just still killing everything while he's rampaging. So at this point, I think it's going to be a Bretonian victory, as we've seen multiple times today. But we'll see what Malekith can get up to. You know, he's doing some very nice side charges into these Bretonian bowmen, but at this point, it just looks like it's going to be Malekith by himself against all of the Bretonian forces by the end of the day, because the Cold One Knights are dead. Sisters of Singing Doom will be joining them shortly. All of the Dread Spears are very tattered. One Blackguard is already routing. The other Blackguard is still very good on health, but it just doesn't have the speed to chase anything down, so I can't really see it being a decisive factor here in the late game. Man, oh man. Yeah, while I was casting Group A, I was saying I'm so glad people picked different factions, but then the battles kept coming, and I recognized how many people chose Dark Elves. I'm pretty sure all but one player picked Dark Elves as one of their factions. Or all but 2. Yeah, there was only 2 players who didn't have Dark Elves. But there was still some good diversity. You know, we had Geraldo with the Greenskins and Warriors of Chaos and so forth. But yeah, at this point in the battle, trying to figure out what's going to happen. We got the companions on top of Malekith. We got spearmen supporting them. But the Blackguard and Nagrand are in this combat, so that's definitely going to go the Dark Elf's way. And those Peasant Bowmen should be regrouping here pretty quickly. Questing Knights coming out to act as the defensive unit, you know, basically be a wall, it would seem. But we'll see what happens as they aren't turning around to face Malekith. There they go. Turned around just now to face off against Malekith. The Peasant Bowmen are opening fire, getting poison in on top of them. Yeah, there goes that poison. But meanwhile, in the backlines for the Dark Elves, you know, it's just Lewin cleaning up. He is taking out Dark Riders, Repeater Crossbows, taking these ones out now, getting Terror. Even the Damsel of Life wants in on some of this action. She's getting attacked by the Slaanesha's Harvesters, but it looks like she has some Men-at-Arms to fall back to in her forest, who should be able to help her out in that combat. And yeah, just like that, guys, it's just... There's really nothing left in this Dark Elf army that's going to be able to deal with Lewin. The Repeater Crossbows, one's shattered, the other one is still routing. You come over here, you can see the Slaanesha Harvesters have been routed, as we just saw. Dread Spears are not doing well. These Dread Spears, very low on health. The only healthy infantry unit left on the battlefield is these Blackguard and Nagrand, and even they are under half health. And Malekith, although he will be able to do a lot of damage against Bretonnian infantry in this late game, as soon as Lewin the Anchor dives in on top of him, it's going to be a GG. So let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit as they go ahead and regroup the two players. Yeah, they're going to the regrouping phase. Yeah, this ain't going to work for the Dark Elves, methinks. Yep, Sword of Corone getting popped. And now Lewin is in on top of Malekith. Soul Stealer getting popped. It should help him out quite a lot. Blackguard and Nagrand are in combat, so Lewin, you know, in any normal situation, I would be, you know, not very happy with this engagement he chose to get into. But he has a regrowth on top of him, standard ground, and I think at this point he just recognizes that he really does have a distinct advantage since Lewin is so healthy, and Malekith is on top of a chariot, which isn't the best thing to try to kill off hero on top of the Hippogriff. Over here, the Holy Wardens look like they were chasing down Malekith too. I'd love to see them turn around and just start fighting against the Blackguard and Nagrand and the Dread Spears. Damsel of Life even diving in on top of Malekith now. Earthblood should be going down on top of these units. Yep, sure is. And he didn't hit Lewin for some reason. Maybe it's because he's already hit his healing cap. Lewin for the lady. Got these lightsaber-wielding battle pilgrims just duking it out. Malekith coming in and out for some lovely charges here as his infantry is satisfying the attacking rule. But Lewin is coming for him. He's like, hey, buddy. Malekith is, yeah, not going to enjoy life. Oh, but look, the Bretonnian reinforcements are on their way into battle. Got the peasant mob diving in, distracting these Blackguard and Nagrand. Holy Wardens are still holding on for dear life, duking it out with these Blackguard and Nagrand. Malekith going to be charging in and out, tossing Bretonnian peasants to and fro. But there goes another Earthblood. And, yeah. It'd be crazy if when I went back, the balance of power was against the Bretonnians, but yeah, it's not. Blackguard and Nagrand, they're wavering. One of them is already gone, and I think this is going to be a GG. Just waiting to see how Malekith goes, but yeah, there goes the balance of power. Army losses should be kicking in here soon, and now it's going to be Malekith surrounded by enemy forces with no friendly forces of his own, and standard ground going down, and the Sword of Corone going down on top of Malekith as well, further debuffing his stats, making it as easy as possible for good old King Lu and Liam Kerr to kill him off and win the day. Oh, Malekith, you're a stubborn little guy, aren't you? Oh, wow. That was quite the sword thrust there. Exploding those peasants. There goes the Shatter. And that will be a GG to the Bretonnians. So, Bretonnians just beating the Dark Elves all day long, guys. Yeah, some very close games. Oh, man. Blackheart and Nagarond and Malekith there. 362 kills, guys. That's insanity. That is insanity. But a great game to PrussianPrince, and now we're going to an ace match here.